Hello, I'm Pearl.
I'm Bob.
And we are just passing through.
And this is our next exit.
Come and join us.
And you would be joining us on our trip from Yuma, Arizona, all the way up
to Soledad.
Going to Soledad and then on up to Oregon.
On up to Oregon to Whalers Rest.
With a stop over at Lake Tahoe and Elko.
Yes.
And this is our first time at Caravaning, as you could tell with the little shot of us, Pearl, driving past Jeff and Lori. Pearl kind of, if you haven't noticed in our video, she likes leading the pack.
So, I just like driving.
Yeah, she does like driving, and thank goodness. So this is not a perfect trip. We had problems with
overheating.
Yeah, mechanical issues. Jeff had some mechanical issues. We had some overheating issues.
Right.
And then we got some GPS issues. It presented a real problem.
Right.
So come on along. It took us what, a month to get up here.
Right.
But we'll try to contain this down in 20 or 30 minutes. So
we took our time.
We did take our time. Yeah, we got to visit all of our kids.
Right.
But we started out. Jeff and Lori left Tucson. They've been in Tucson all summer. We've been in Yuma all summer.
Right.
And all in triple-digit weather. And everybody was sick and tired of Arizona
and the heat.
And the heat, yeah. So we're all headed up to Oregon, where my understanding is it's about 60 degrees, and the nights are about 40-something, and that just sounds delicious. So let's go. Let's get headed out. So everything started off good. We were all pretty much packed up, ready to go. Jeff and Lori, they spent the summer in Tucson, Arizona, and that's about 300 miles from Yuma. So they drove over one Saturday afternoon in the heat of the day, 105 degrees probably, and their generator went out. So this traveling with other people is totally new to us. We've never done any caravans.
No caravaning.
But we thought we were pretty much ready to go, and Jeff was pretty much ready to go, but when your generator goes out and you got triple-digit temperatures, that makes for strike one.
You're not quite ready to go yet.
Yeah, that can make for a rough day. But luckily, Jeff, he's pretty wise. He's got backup parts for most things that he thinks he might need. He's doing a way better job on that than we are. So he did a little research on his generator. He estimated it probably was his fuel pump. I thought he was just low on fuel. It just kept dying, and he'd start it and run a little bit and then die. But he was right. It was his fuel pump. He got under there, switched it out, took less than an hour. There wasn't room under there for both of us, especially as hot as it was, so I just kind of sat down beside the coach and drank a beer and went and fetched him some tools. And everything worked out good. He got it fired up, and it ran for I think 20 or 30 minutes before he shut it off.
I kind of wish I was out there so I could have watched Jeff say, Bob, would you fetch me this, or would you fetch me that?
I was happy to fetch it, because sitting there drinking that beer, cold beer, felt good and tasted good. And it definitely was hot underneath that generator.
Oh, yes.
So that was strike one. And but it worked out all right. We got through it. Pearl and Lori was inside cooking dinner, and that timing was just great. About the time we finished up, you had a really nice dinner. What'd you make us, baby?
Mediterranean chicken.
Yeah?
Or Moroccan chicken.
Jeff said he knew it was going to be good.
I can tell just by.
Where's Lori's rice? I thought you made some rice.
It's in the pot.
Oh, it's in the pot. Cool. Well, let's see if it's any good, huh?
All right.
What'd you call that? Moroccan chicken, or?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that turned out really good. And Lori doesn't get in the camera a whole lot, but Lori is one heck of a cook.
She is.
They're from Tennessee, and she's got a lot of family recipes and several things she's made for us at different times.
And she makes things from scratch, which is just great.
Real deal stuff. Matter of fact, while we was driving, sometimes she got up and went back to the kitchen and made some homemade biscuits, some bacon. So we had bacon
sliders.
Biscuits, bacon sliders.
Bacon biscuit sliders.
We pulled over, she come and brought us 4 of those, and we went on down the road. So we had a great dinner. We kind of did some planning, figured out how far we was going to drive in a day, talked about it in general. And the next day we headed out on the road. You loading her up?
Working on it.
Just about ready. Where are you guys headed to?
We're staying right here for the Caravan, and this is nice. We got 50 amp hookups. It's free.
Totally free, huh? What a nice guy. This is a great
really
place.
nice lady here. She can cook. This lady can cook.
Well, I thought the guy'd be in charge.
Hey, I haven't quite figured the guy out yet. He's just kind of here. I'm not sure how he adds value.
He's just staying free too.
He's a good helper.
He is a good helper.
He's a real good helper.
He'll just sit right there and watch you work all day. So things are going great. We're caravanning with two of our good friends. Everything seems to be working, going fine. We've got 350 miles to get to Soledad. Perfect. But then after a couple of hours, you can see up here we were down in second gear. We were going 30 miles an hour, and we're at 215 degrees, and it got up to 217. And 215 is not too bad. 217 starts getting your attention. You need to be doing something. But the only thing we had to do was slow down, downshift, rev the engine up. And on our coach, when you rev the engine up, ever since we've owned it, that speeds up the fan. And it cools it down pretty quick. But you have to get pretty slow. Going 30 miles an hour, you're not going to get anywhere too fast. And Jeff and Lori are not really thrilled. I think Jeff said the slowest he'd ever gone is 45 miles an hour. He could just take, he's got a 350, a Cummins 350 or 325, and he can just sail along. He can fly right past us, and he never overheats. So we've obviously got an issue. Strike number 2. We stopped. I got back, and I knew that I had some seeping around the radiator cap. I'd put a lower pressure radiator cap, thinking that would maybe I was losing water, and that was part of the problem, but I wasn't losing water. You could see that it was still half full in the reservoir, and that's where it was when we left, and that's where it always is. So we weren't losing water, we just didn't know what it was. But we had to slow down. We had to stop a couple of times. We slowed down, pulled over to the side of the road, let people get around us, and all those things. I'm sure it was driving Jeff and Lori crazy, because they generally only travel, 3 or 4 hours a day, or something like that. So I'm sure they're not having a great day. They said everything is fine, and they do whatever. But strike number 2.
Head them up and move them out.
Head them up, move them out. That's it? That's all I get?
That's all you get. Happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you, baby. You ready to go to Oregon, Tinker? Yeah, buddy.
Let's go. Okay.
So we're getting really close. We're like 30 miles away, and I can see on the GPS on my phone, which it updates. So if there's road construction or accidents, it tells me. Well, the road we were going to turn on, that our RV GPS was trying to send us on my iPhone, it had red X's saying it was closed off. So I found another little road a little bit before we got to our road, and I said, well, we'll just take this. I think it'll work. We took it. And I think it was a state highway, I don't remember for sure. But the RV GPS kept saying, no, turn around, turn here at this road. It didn't like it at all. And finally we drove maybe 10 miles up that road. And then it said, you've passed the last turnaround. There's no avoiding the hazard. And the hazard was 3 bridges with a maximum weight limit of 8,000 pounds. We're 42,000 pounds, and I'm sure Jeff is 37,000 pounds. And we're on a little narrow road. We got our toads hooked up. So we had to pull over, and I had to go tell them what all had happened and what I'd done. We unhooked the toads, and we made like a 3-point turnaround and got headed back, and we made it up to the campsite. But that's strike 3, and we're out. The people at the campsite at Soledad, they were probably the strictest people on face mask and rules and insurance and dog papers and registration. It was kind of hard getting to our sites, but once we got there, we found 2 sites that was able to fit in. Most of the park was closed down, and we really both got pretty fair sites. And if it was straightened up and a little bit fixed up, it'd be a nice campground. We probably wouldn't go back. We wouldn't go out of our way to go back, but we would go back if we had a reason to. And then that's where Jeff and Laura stayed. They're staying there for a week, because Jeff, he keeps working until the middle of August, I think. So he had to stay for a week, and then they're going to travel on the weekend. We spent the night, and we headed off to Lake Tahoe, and then we're going to meet up with them at Whalers Rest up in Oregon in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm a big weenie.
Say hi, you guys. I don't know if it's a short soul or not.
Hi, you guys.
What's going on?
Yeah, hey,
Hello.
wish you was here.
Good food from Pearl.
Yeah. So what do you think? Caravaning. It certainly adds a new dimension.
It does add a new
traveling.
dimension, and I think it can be fun. And the idea that we can help each other if things go awry with either or.
That's true. It'd be nice if you didn't have problems and you didn't have to worry about that.
That would be a blessing.
And
in
that's the
disguise.
first real travel day that we've ever had with mechanical issues.
Really, yes, yes.
But with Jeff and Lori's problems, and then our problems, and then we've had troubles with GPS before.
Oh,
But that's one good reason to have an RV GPS, is it warns you of those low bridges,
yes.
low
Clearances.
overweight bridges, low
overweight.
clearances. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good. So, as a side note, but I agree. I think I'm really glad that the first time we did it was with Jeff and Lori.
Absolutely.
I couldn't think of another couple that we know that I would rather be RVing with, because Jeff, he's pretty smart, and he would do. I think we could be 100 miles away and say, Jeff, we got a problem. They'd load up and come and give us a hand.
I'm sure they would. And he's so level-headed and so...
Ornery.
That's beside the point.
The reason I say they would is because Jeff is not in charge of their starship. Lori is. So he might say, heck no, I'm busy watching a YouTube video. Lori'd say, put your computer away,
we
start it
need
up,
to-
and let's go. She's the boss. We've seen her more times than once, more times than a dozen, line him out and say, knock that off. You can't say that. You can't do that. So Jeff and Lori, we sure had fun caravan with you. The bad
And we
news,
sure appreciate your help.
yeah,
Absolutely.
help doing what?
Well, he was our flasher, remember?
Well, thanks for your little bit of help, Jeff. But
Jeff.
kind of the sad news, the plan was that we were going to separate the next day. We were going to go to Lake Tahoe and Reno and Elko, seeing some friends and family, and then on up to Bend, and then we were going to meet Jeff and Lori from Jeff and Lori's RV Life, and Dave and Karen from Our Endeavor. We were going to meet them up at Bend, and Jeff and Lori there in Reno.
Jeff and Lori, RV Life?
Mhm.
Is that for sure?
Well, I canceled it already.
Is that the same Jeff and Lori? RV Life?
Tom and Lori.
Okay.
Did I say Jeff?
Yes, you did.
Good job, baby.
Thank you.
So we were going to separate the next day anyway, because Jeff is still working for another 3 or 4 weeks. And so they have to stay Monday through Friday somewhere steady where he can get up. He works out of BMW in New York State. And so he has to start working like 4 o'clock in the morning. So they were going to stay there at Soledad. We were going to go up to Lake Tahoe and then down to Reno, visiting friends and family. And we was going to get to see Tom and Lori from Tom and Lori's RV Life.
Right.
And then when we got up to Bend, we was going to get to see Dave and Karen from Our Endeavor. We never met either one of those couples, but we watch their channels and we enjoy their content, and we look forward to meeting them.
Yes.
And then we were going to meet up with Jeff and Lori at Whalers Rest.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, their son and daughter lives in Tucson. Their son got sick. And so halfway through the following week, they got a hold of us and said, we're going to turn around and go back to Tucson. Our son's sick. We don't know if it's coronavirus or just what. He'd been to the hospital. So they turned around. They decided not to travel anymore for this 3 or 4 weeks until he's retired and doesn't have to work. So hopefully, we were going to caravan with them off and on all summer long, all through Oregon and Washington.
Right.
Hopefully they're going to come back up.
Yes.
That everybody's okay, and we have heard that their son Brandon is doing well.
Yes.
And then get to do a little bit of caravan and visiting with them. But for now, they're headed back to Tucson. So we have 1 day experience of caravanning. We had a lot of problems, but it is fun. We definitely recommend it. But a couple things we found, kind of figured out that we had thought of, but we didn't really take care of, is or address. Like Jeff and Lori like to travel under 200 miles, a few hours a day.
Right.
And so we didn't talk about it. We talked about it a little bit, and maybe they just assumed that we would plan on stopping, but we don't usually stop. We just go. And we have food made up or snacks or whatever, and we just travel. And traveling, we try to stay under 200, but we do a lot of 300 or even close to 400, and we've done more.
Exactly. But
I mean, you're the driver. What's your thoughts? Do you get tired when I schedule those 300-mile days, or you rather get there, or?
I'd just as soon get there and then relax a little bit. I don't mind the short trips, and I don't really mind the long trips as long as they're not day after day after day.
Yeah. Well, these was 2 in a row we did. We went to Soledad, that's over 300, and then the next day we went up to Tahoe, and that was a little further, I think.
Yes.
But then we got to stay for a week or two. So I'm the same way. I just didn't get there. Right. And we leave early. We're always in the campground by between 1 and 3 probably.
Right.
We leave between 8 and 10, and we usually get there between 1 and 3. But Jeff and Lori, they don't like traveling that much. So that, for them, made it a little bit tough. When we got to the campground, they had not ate except for the sliders that she had made for us.
Right.
And so they were pretty hungry. And that's why Pearl hopped in and made a nice meal for everybody. But you got to work those kind of things out. And what do you do? I've thought about this. We hadn't given up on doing a little caravan up to Alaska yet.
Right.
But what do you do if somebody just totally breaks down? Does everybody stay there and help babysit, or do you just leave them? Or, I mean, that's a tough. It adds a whole new dimension to traveling because you got to worry about everybody.
Right.
I think our style is just kind of how we had planned with Jeff and Lori. Is we'll meet up somewhere, like we met in Yuma, and then we travel for a day, and then if somebody wants to leave early, they go ahead, and somebody wants to go see these sites or stay longer, and then meet up again in 4 or 5 days or a week or something. A loose caravan.
Exactly.
And then if somebody does need help, you put out call and say, hey, we got stuck, we got whatever the problem is.
Can
turn around and go help them. You want a caravan with people that you're good enough friends with that you don't mind turning around and backtracking.
Exactly.
And with Jeff and Lori, we wouldn't mind at all. But it does add a new dimension. And your eating, your stopping style. So it adds, we need to think about this some more before we caravan with anybody else, if we ever do. But
and we may. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that we are good enough friends with that I think we can caravan and it not be a big issue.
Until they see this video and they say, we're not going with them. So anyway, I think caravan adds a whole new dimension. A ton of fun. We definitely want to do it some more.
Yes.
Hopefully Jeff and Lori come on up and we get to do it with them.
Right.
But we decided to divide this video up into 2 parts. We're going to stop it here at Soledad. We decided to go up to Tahoe and then put the coach. I wanted to change the thermostat. I think that might be the problem, at least at this point. I think that. And if that don't fix it, put it into Cummings and just let them fix it. Let the let the straws fall where they may, kind of thing.
Chips fall where they may.
Let the chips fall where they may, and put it into Cummings, get it fixed, and then we can go on, because we just don't want problems all the time.
No.
One thing I want to interject here, as you know, we're having a next exit boondocking rally in January up at Quartzsite, and there's been a bunch of people, probably over 50. Out of the 50 that said they were coming, probably only 5 or 10 would show up. But we've got a number of people with interest, and I'm trying to get some stuff to give away. And I've got a lot of response on these portable power stations. This here's a Rockman 200, and it's one that we were going to give away. But we're liking it so much, we're going to keep this one. We're charging up our lights right now, filming this, and it's using 16 watts of power. They're LED lights. But we can take it wherever we have the lights. It's got the 110 and the USB ports. It's got all the normal stuff. But what we like it's only 6 pounds, and we can take it to wherever we're at where we want the power.
Right.
Whether it's outside, whether it's sitting right here. Before I'd have extension cord running all through the coach, and now I'm just using the different portable power stations. So I got a hold of Rockman. They're anxious to get the video, so we're gonna put that video out here in the next few days and ask them for another one to give away at the rally. Right. So they're going to send us another one. We've got one coming from Jackery. We've got one coming from several other places, and we've got another great big one coming. We're not going to, and we're getting most of these to be able to give away at the rally, assuming the pandemic doesn't mess the rally up too bad.
Right.
So I'd like to ask everybody to be sure and watch those videos, make your comments, give them some thumbs up. We're not doing them to get stuff for us or whatever. We're going to do honest and fair review, but we're going to give a vast majority of these away, and hopefully we can get some other stuff. I think we have some solar panels coming, a portable solar panel. So watch these videos and hopefully come to the rally and win one. I'm guessing we're going to make it where you have to be there, but we'll probably give away a couple of things where you don't have to be there to win them. So anyway, this one here is the Rockman 200, and they were the first one to say, yeah, we'll send you one for your rally. And now they're going to send us two so we can keep one and give one away at the rally. And it's really a handy little unit. I've kicked it over and knocked it down, and it's holding up pretty darn good. I was afraid I broke it the other day, but it didn't hurt it a bit.
Thank goodness.
But I'll be sure and give the new one away. I won't give the old one away. So anyway, look for that video be out in the next few days.
So in the meantime,
keep the wheels rolling.
Stay safe.
We'll see you at the next exit, folks.
Bye-bye, folks.
I don't wanna be giving too much away just yet. Don't wanna be spilling my guts to someone I just met. But I say this much, I got a real good feeling. Yes, I do. Real good feeling. You say you've been burned a few times now. Well, so have I. You say you learned to tell truth from lies. Oh, yes, you do. Just sitting